Have you ever wondered how professional colour pencil artists achieve such great detail in their work? Have you ever wondered how you can cover a large area, say for example a sky or large areas of skin tone, without leaving white gaps? In today's clip, I will take you through 12 key tips to help you improve your colour pencil work and take you through the tools that you need to help you on that journey to achieving fantastic pencil studies. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is pencil control or pencil pressure. This will help to prolong the shelf life of your pencils. Sometimes people hold their pencil vertically like I'm doing now and press down very hard on the pencil, which means that the pencil breaks. As you can see, there are little bits of pencil around the edge of these marks, which means that the pencil is going to break. Now, the next technique that I'm going to use, I am using the pencil on its side and also I'm rotating the pencil. And that means that the pencil will last a lot longer. This is the best technique to use, and also it means that you get a smoother shade with your pencil technique. The next tip I'm going to talk about when you are creating realistic work is to have smooth transitions. So on this sample at the top, you will see that there is firstly I'm using a vertical shading technique, and there will be just one direct shade from orange and then another one to red. There is no blending. Whereas on the bottom one, I am using the shading where it's more or less horizontal, it's on its side. And what I am doing is when I am shading the one colour into the next, I am putting less pressure on the area where the shading is transitioning from one colour to the other. So as you can see now, I'm using the side of the pencil, and when I go from one colour into the next, I will shade much lighter so that that transition is a lot smoother. Very often when trying to achieve a darker tone, people will select black and mix that with their colour of choice. This is a mistake, because what will happen is you will just end up with a grey tone rather than a darker tone of your chosen colour. The best thing to do is to choose a darker colour of that selected colour. So for this colour, the pink, I have chosen a wine colour to mix with that, and that will make your colour or your image that you are shading look more realistic and look more 3D. If you go for the black, it won't look realistic. So if you are trying to achieve a realistic drawing and trying to make it look 3D, it's really important that you get used to selecting colours that complement each other and go well together if you are going to create a realistic effect. One thing that is a real struggle with colour pencil work and with watercolour is graphite sketch lines. So you will find that when you have graphite sketch lines, when you shade them with colour pencil and with watercolour, they actually become darker when you add your medium on top. So the best thing to do is, before you start sketching your work or before you start colouring with colour pencil, the best thing to do is to get a kneaded eraser and to go lightly over the pencil marks so you can just about see the marks, and then add your colour, and you will find that you won't see your marks coming through. But you need to use the kneaded eraser so you can just about see your images before you start adding your colour. What you need to try and avoid when you are doing a lot of work where you are putting pressure on your pencil, say for example when you're burnishing, is smudging. Now what happens when you are burnishing or applying any kind of pressure is you get little bits coming from the pencil, and when that happens, the temptation is to wipe those bits away, and sometimes that will smudge your work, especially if you have darker bits next to a lighter shade. So the best thing to do in that situation is to get a brush and to brush those bits away. If you don't, you will get those bits on your work and it will damage your work. And as you can see from my hand, they can create quite a lot of mess. So just make sure that you use a brush to brush those away. In order to take care of your pencils and to create the best work, it's really important to be organised. Now, the first thing to think about is how to look after your pencils when you're not using them. I have this really good pencil case, and the reason I like this pencil case is because I have several brands of pencils. It keeps them all together. Sometimes I store them together in colourways. but at the moment I'm storing them together in different brands, and I find this helps me when I want to find them really quickly. The other thing to consider is organising your pencils before you start using them. As you can see here, I have 2 cups of pencils, and this helps me before I'm going to start on a piece of work, and it means that I've grouped all my pencils according to the picture I'm using. You can see here I've looked at my Prismacolor pencil chart which I made. This is another thing that's worth doing. Whenever I get a new set of paints or pencils, I actually make a colour chart so I know what the colours look like. And then when I'm looking at a painting that I'm working on, I know what colours to use. So that is a really useful tip for when you are completing your work. When you have a limited palette of pencils, say for example a set of 12 colour pencils, which is quite a basic set, some people think that they're restricted to the subject matter that they can draw, but that is not the case. What you can do is layer your colours on top. Now the range of colours that I have here is not even the amount that you can do. You can actually do more than this, but I have kept to cold and warm colours. So say for example with the orange here, I'm layering with reds, yellows, browns, but you could do even more than this colour chart here. I've just done a really quick colour chart using some of these colours to show you the range of colours that you could have. And when I did this colour chart, I noticed that there were some really good colours you could use here for skin tones. So it's a very good straightforward thing to do if you are limited with your colour palette. Sometimes you might struggle with covering large areas, for example sky, skin tone, sea, landscape areas. If that happens, the best thing to do is to use a different media. You can use watercolour, you can use pastel, soft pastel, you can even use marker pen if you wish. But today I'm going to show you what you can do with watercolour and soft pastel. So the best thing to do is to put a layer of watercolour down, you leave it to dry, or soft pastel, and then what you do is you layer your chosen colour on top, and that will work really well. I do a lot of work with watercolour, picking out the larger areas and then adding the details on with colour pencil, and I find that this is really effective for my portrait work. You can also use that for landscapes or any media really, but I find it's really effective. If you're creating a watercolour or you're working in colour pencil and you want to create a white area, a blank area, say for example a detail like hair or a reflection in an eye, then you can use what's called etching. You can do this with a craft knife, or it's sometimes called an X-Acto knife, or you can use a ballpoint pen or a sharp pencil. So I started by etching my design into the paper with my craft knife, and I'm then going to shade over it with colour pencil, and this will reveal the areas that have been etched underneath. Alternatively, if you don't have access to a knife, you can use tape and either a sharp pencil or a pen, and you can put your indentations into that. That will then indent into the paper, and then when you put your pencil over those indentations, it will reveal your design on the paper. The next tip is very simple. Once you have added your shading, preferably with a gradient, you then fold your paper, your tissue paper, really carefully, firstly into a square, then into a double triangle so you've got a nice point, and then you rub with some pressure onto your shading, and it will blend the shade, the grades or the marks so that they are more blended, and you should lose some of the white areas on the paper. This is really effective if you want to create a blended effect. Kneadable erasers are really good at removing colour pencils because you can mould them to whatever size you want, but also the more you knead them, the more they will remove the colour pencils. So knead them for a couple of minutes and then mould them to the size you want and use them to remove your colour pencil work. The next tip is one that will save you a lot of money if you have pencils, especially expensive pencils, and that is a pencil extender. If you apply a lot of pressure on your pencils, you'll find that when you get towards the end, it's very difficult to use them. So a pencil extender is one way for you to get more life out of your pencils. The next tip I'm going to tell you about is using solvent. Now, I like to use solvent when I'm covering large areas with pencil work and I want to create a smooth effect. Solvent works on top of the pencil to blend everything out, and the one that I'm going to be using is Zest It Pencil Blend. I like to use that because the fumes aren't that strong. So what I'm doing is I'm applying a tiny amount of the pencil blend over the top after I've wiped it onto a paper towel, just to make sure that there isn't too much, because sometimes it can feather at the edges and it can expand over the edge. So I'm just layering it over the top just to smooth out the pencil blend and to make sure that I get a smooth effect. If you enjoyed this clip, then make sure you check out more clips like this in the Techniques and Colour Pencil playlist. Don't forget to look in the description below for details of products used in today's clip. And if you have any ideas for content or questions, leave a comment below. Finally, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of future content.